Jack was used to silence. The scrapyard at the edge of Colony 9 was always quiet after dark. Old ship parts, broken machines, and metal crates filled the space. Jack liked it that way. No noise. No people, no questions, but that night, something was wrong. He heard it. Soft footsteps. Not loud, just different. Too light to be a scavenger. Too soft to be a human. Jack turned quickly, flashlight in hand. The beam caught something. Eyes, big, glowing blue eyes. Hiding behind the crates, he stepped closer. Slowly, the figure backed away. It was a girl, not human. Skin pale purple, hair thin and silver, and she was shaking. She looked about 9 or 10 in size, but her eyes showed she was older. She wore torn clothes, thin cloth barely covering her small body. Her feet were dirty and bruised. She looked lost. Terrified. "Hey," Jack said quietly. "It's okay, I won't hurt you." She didn't answer. Didn't speak at all, just stared. She was breathing fast, ready to run. Jack slowly set down his flashlight, then pulled out a wrapped ration bar from his pocket. He placed it on the ground and stepped back. The girl waited, then crawled forward. She snatched the food and backed away again. But she didn't run. She sat there, ate the bar like she hadn't eaten in days. Her hands were shaking the whole time. Jack didn't speak. He just watched. Something about her felt wrong, not in a bad way, but in a way that told him she didn't belong here. When she finished eating, she looked at him again. Still no words, still shaking. He took off his jacket and slowly slid it across the ground toward her. She hesitated, then grabbed it and wrapped it around herself, like it was the warmest thing she'd ever touched. "You're not from here, are you?" Jack asked, more to himself. The girl just looked up at the stars, then pointed at them with her small finger. Jack frowned. He followed her hand. The stars above Colony 9 were clear that night. Was she pointing to home or to danger? Suddenly, the wind shifted. Jack heard a distant hum. Patrol drones. He stood quickly. Those drones scanned for heat signatures. They weren't supposed to come near the scrapyard. But tonight, something was different. He looked back at the girl. Her body was shaking harder now. She was scared of the sound, no terrified. "Come on," Jack whispered. "You can't stay here." She didn't move, so he took a step forward, slowly extended his hand. She looked at it like it was poison. But after a few seconds, she reached out and took it. Her hand was cold, too cold, and small. Lighter than he expected. He led her inside his workshop, closed the metal door behind them, covered the windows. The patrol drones passed by, but didn't stop inside. The girl sat quietly on an old chair. She looked around like she had never seen walls before. Jack brought her warm water. She drank it carefully, then curled up, holding the jacket close. "Who are you?" he asked. She said nothing. Didn't even try. Jack sighed and looked at her arms. Then he noticed it. A faint mark near her wrist. An alien symbol burned into her skin. He leaned closer. It was like a brand, not a tattoo. Like someone had marked her. His eyes narrowed. She wasn't just lost. She had escaped from something. Something that didn't treat her like a person. Jack leaned back in his chair and looked at her. She was already falling asleep, right there, in his jacket, in his shop, like it was the safest place in the world. He looked at the glowing symbol on her wrist again, and whispered to himself, "What did they do to you, kid?" Outside, the wind howled, but inside a storm was building. Jack had no idea that by saving her, he had just stepped into something far bigger than he could imagine, and someone out there wanted her back. Jack didn't sleep much that night. He kept looking over at the alien girl. She was curled up on an old couch, wrapped in his jacket like a scared animal. She didn't make a sound, not even in her sleep. By morning, Jack knew he had to learn something, anything about her. Who was she? Where did she come from? Why was she running? And why didn't she speak? He set up a small table in front of her and placed a few things down. A piece of metal plate, a broken stylus, and a stick of chalk. She blinked at him, confused. Jack pointed to the chalk, then tapped the metal. "Draw," he said softly. Anything, at. First, she just stared. But then, slowly, she picked up the chalk. Her small hand shook as she pressed it against the metal. One line, then two. Then a shape began to form. Jack leaned forward. She had drawn a box, no. Not just a box, a cage, with bars. And inside it figures like her, curled up, sad. She drew more quickly now. A tall figure standing outside the cage, wearing a mask, holding something sharp. Then another mark, this one like the symbol on her wrist. Then an eye watching, always watching. Jack's stomach turned. He realized something. This wasn't just where she came from. This was what she escaped. He gently slid the metal plate closer to him. Was this you? He asked, pointing at one of the small figures inside the cage. The girl nodded, slowly, her eyes welled with tears. But she didn't cry. She was too used to hiding pain. Jack leaned back, trying to stay calm. Alien trafficking was supposed to be banned across all colonies. But things still happened in the shadows. Dark things. He opened his datapad and typed in the symbol from her wrist. Nothing came up. No public files. No records. He tried to contact one of his old friends from the Defense Corps. A secure line. Hey Len, Jack whispered. I need a favor. Off the books, Len's face appeared, tired and grumpy. You still alive, Jack? What is it? Jack held up a picture of the girl's wrist mark. Ever seen this before? Len stared, then his expression changed. Where did you get that? He asked, voice low. Just tell me, Jack said. Len shook his head. You don't want to be involved with this, Jack, that symbol? It's not official. But it's connected to Black Lab's classified alien testing, off-grid stuff. Testing? Jack whispered. Len's face became serious. If you found someone with that mark, don't trust anyone, not even the law. The call ended. Jack's hand trembled slightly as he turned back to the girl. She was now drawing a second image. This time, a ship. It was round, not human-made, and broken, falling from the sky. She drew herself near it. Running away, that's how she escaped. She must have escaped during a crash or transport failure. But the next image she drew chilled him to the bone. She drew him. Jack, with his beard and his tools, standing next to her, and behind them a black shadow, creeping closer. Jack swallowed hard. Who was after her? And how long did they have? Suddenly, there was a sharp beep outside. Jack jumped and rushed to the door. A hoverbike had passed by, slowly scanning. A drone followed close behind, its red lens scanning heat signatures. He turned and looked at her. She had frozen completely. Then she ran toward him. Not away, but toward, and clutched his arm. Her eyes begged him, not for food, not for water, but for safety. Jack made up his mind. He couldn't give her up, no matter what. Not after what she'd been through. Not after what she'd shown him. He nodded. We'll get out of here, he said firmly. She didn't understand the words, but she understood the tone. She let go of his arm. And for the first time, she gave him a tiny broken smile. But deep in the shadows outside, the drone paused, as if it had found something. Jack didn't know it yet. But eyes were already on them, and time was running out. Jack didn't open his shop the next morning. The scrapyard gates stayed shut. No welding sounds, no engine hum. Just silence, and the girl hiding behind a stack of spare parts. He tried to act normal, fixing an old hoverbike, but his mind kept racing. Who branded her? Why were drones suddenly scanning this area? And what would happen if someone found her? He stepped inside and turned on his private console. Time to dig deeper. He opened a hidden channel used by smugglers, hackers, and bounty hunters. It was risky, but it was the only place real information lived. Jack typed in a simple search. Alien child, escaped, Colony 9. Possible bounty? The screen blinked for a moment. Then a list popped up. One file had no name, no species, just a photo. The girl's face dirt-streaked and scared. Underneath it, one word, property. Jack's blood turned cold. No birth name. No missing report. She wasn't listed as a person, she was registered as lost cargo. The bounty was huge, enough to buy a ship, a home. A quiet life anywhere, but only if someone turned her in. Alive, no questions asked. He stared at the screen for a long moment, then shut it off outside. The girl was now standing near the doorway. She watched him with wide eyes. She had heard the beep of the console. Maybe she didn't know the words, but she knew what that sound meant: danger. "Don't worry," Jack said softly. "I'm not selling you." She didn't answer, just sat down quietly and started drawing again. This time something strange. A long hallway, a white light, and a man in a black coat with silver gloves. Holding a collar, Jack looked over her shoulder. "Was that the one who caught you?" She nodded once, then drew a small box in his hand. It wasn't a weapon. It looked like a key card, a strange one, with a moving symbol on it, just like the one burned into her skin. "Do they want you, or the card?" Jack whispered, but he already knew the answer. Both. Suddenly, there was a knock on the scrapyard gate. 3 hard bangs, not local, not friendly. Jack looked at the girl. She froze, then crawled behind a metal barrel, out of sight. Jack opened the small camera feed. A man stood outside, shiny boots, clean black coat, too clean for Colony 9, and next to him, a floating black drone with a red eye. "Local security check," the man called out. "We're looking for a missing cargo item." Cargo. They didn't even try to lie. Jack opened the small hatch at the gate and replied, "Nothing but broken engines and rust in here, pal." The man smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. "If we may take a look, just a scan." Jack nodded slowly. "Sure," he said, "but I'll need a permit." He slammed the hatch shut before the man could reply. Jack turned fast. The girl was still hiding. "Back room go, now," he whispered. She moved instantly. She'd done this before. He opened a hidden panel in the floor. Old escape tunnel, built during the colony wars. He never thought he'd use it again. "Stay there," he told her. "No sound, no light, no movement." She didn't cry, didn't beg, just gave a single nod and vanished into the shadows. Jack shut the panel. By the time he stood up, the gate was being forced open. The man in black entered first. His drone scanned the area, red beam sweeping side to side. "You work alone?" the man asked. "Always," Jack said, keeping his voice calm. "Just fixing old junk for old credits." The drone passed by the panel. Paused for half a second. Jack held his breath, but the drone moved on. The man gave a final cold look around. "If you see anything unusual," he said, "report it." "Sure," Jack replied. "If I see cargo walking and drawing pictures, I'll let you know." The man's eyes narrowed. He didn't like the joke, but he left without a word. As the gate closed again, Jack locked it tight, then pulled open the panel. The girl crawled out, shaking but safe. Jack dropped to one knee. "They know you're here," he said. "We can't stay." She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small, dirty chip. She placed it in Jack's hand. It lit up faintly. A 3D image popped above it. Coordinates, somewhere deep in the wastes. Jack looked at her. "You want to go there?" She nodded slowly. For the first time she whispered a word, one word only, in a soft, broken voice. "Home." Jack didn't wait for nightfall. He packed his bag: fast rations, water, tools, and an old plasma cutter. The girl stood silently by the door, holding nothing but his jacket. She didn't ask questions, she just trusted him. The chip she gave him showed a location far beyond the colony limits, deep in the red wastes. A dead zone. No roads, no patrols, no law, and no reason for anyone to go there, unless they were hiding something. Jack didn't care anymore. He had seen the fear in her eyes. He had heard the way she whispered, "Home." Whatever waited out there, it was safer than staying here. He pulled back the tarp from an old vehicle in the garage. A rusty landcrawler, half broken, half hope. It hadn't run in years, but it still had one trick. A stolen stealth plate. Couldn't fly, but it could move undetected. If it worked, Jack popped the hood. "Come on, old girl," he muttered. The alien girl stood beside him. Then she reached forward and touched the engine panel. It blinked once. Then the engine hummed to life. Jack looked at her, surprised. She just smiled faintly, then climbed in. They left the scrapyard behind. Dust rose behind the crawler. Jack didn't know where they were going, but one thing was clear. They weren't running anymore. They were going toward something. The red wastes were silent. No towns, no traffic. Just miles of red sand, sharp rocks, and broken ship debris from ancient wars. The coordinates led them to a canyon, narrow, steep. Jack slowed down as they entered. "This can't be right," he whispered. Then the crawler's scanner lit up. A hidden structure buried in the rock. Almost invisible, but definitely there. The girl's breathing quickened. Her eyes locked on the rock wall. She pointed there. A tiny metallic slot in the stone. Jack stepped out and approached it. Slid the chip inside. Nothing happened at first. Then, the ground shook. A hidden door opened. Carved from rock and steel inside. Darkness. Jack grabbed his flashlight and led the way. The girl followed closely, her small hand gripping the back of his shirt. They moved down a narrow tunnel. Rusty metal walls, flickering lights. Jack saw signs of old tech, alien symbols. Strange machines long dead. Then they reached it. A large round door, half open. Inside what looked like an old lab. Tables, screens, shattered glass, and blood. Dried on the floor. The girl froze. She remembered this place. Her hands trembled. Jack scanned the room. In the far corner something glowed. A box, sealed with the same strange symbol from her wrist. He walked over and opened it. Inside was a keycard, but not like any normal one. It shimmered. The surface moved like water, and the moment he touched it, a voice echoed in the room, not from speakers, but from the air itself. Keyholder recognized. Protective protocol initiated. Jack looked around. Who's talking? The girl pointed up. A drone came to life on the ceiling, small, alien, and old. It scanned Jack and her, then spoke again. Guardian identified. Subject Alpha status, critical. Evacuation recommended. Jack turned to the girl. Subject Alpha? She didn't answer, but tears ran down her cheeks. This place had been her prison, but also her origin. She wasn't just a runaway. She was something important. Suddenly an alert rang through the old lab, flashing red lights. The voice changed. Unauthorized vessel approaching. Signal matched. Retrieval Unit 7. Jack's heart sank. They followed us, he muttered. The girl grabbed his hand tight. No more time, no more hiding. He snatched the shimmering keycard and pulled her toward the exit. Back to the land crawler, back to escape. As the door behind them sealed shut again, a shadow fell over the canyon, a black dropship descending fast. Jack gunned the engine. The crawler roared forward, dodging rocks, flying over red sand. Girl held onto him tightly. Behind them dust clouds, and the sound of engines chasing them. He slid the new keycard into the dash just to try. Suddenly, the dashboard lit up in a different language, then translated. Override accepted. Full power activated. The crawler surged forward with new speed, more than it ever had before. The engine glowed with alien light. Jack grinned. Guess this isn't a junker anymore. They raced into the wastes. Behind them chasing ships closed in, but ahead was freedom, or maybe the start of something even bigger. The crawler didn't stop until the fuel warning light blinked red. They had driven for hours, far from the canyon, far from the black dropship chasing them. Now they rested at the edge of an old crater. Silent and hidden, Jack stepped out first. Blaster in hand, he scanned the sky. No drones, no ships, just wind and silence. The alien girl sat quietly inside, holding the shimmering keycard. Her fingers traced the symbol like it was something sacred. Jack watched her for a moment, then sat beside her. You knew that place, he said gently. You remembered everything, didn't you? She didn't answer. Instead, she held out the keycard, pressed it against the dash again. The crawler beeped, but instead of powering up, the screen flickered and projected a map, a star map, with one blinking dot not far from their location. Jack squinted. It's leading us somewhere else? The girl nodded slowly. She touched the map, her hand hovering over the blinking dot. Then she whispered something, a word Jack didn't recognize, but it sounded like hope. Jack turned the crawler around. Then that's where we go. 2 hours later, they found it. Not a building, not a lab, but a crash site, long buried in sand and time. A ship, half-covered, old and strange. Definitely alien smooth surface, no markings. Only one thing still glowing. A circular panel with the same shimmering symbol as the keycard. The girl climbed down from the crawler without fear. She walked up to the ship like she had done it before. Jack followed, tense. Are you sure about this? She looked back and nodded, then held out the keycard. The panel lit up, and with a deep hum, the ship responded. A ramp slid out from the side, air hissed. Lights inside flickered to life. Warm golden light spilled onto the sand. They stepped inside, not a warship, not a lab. It was something different. The walls were lined with small pods. Each pod had a soft blue glow. Inside were children, alien children sleeping, frozen in stasis. Jack froze in place. There were dozens, different species, different sizes, but all clearly young. What is this place? Jack whispered. The girl walked up to one pod and placed her hand on the glass. Tears filled her eyes, not of fear, but of memory. She had been one of them. She had escaped, but the others had not. A voice spoke from the walls, soft female. Alien but translated through the keycard's AI. Welcome back, Subject Alpha. This preservation ship has maintained your group for 12 years, awaiting rescue, awaiting a guardian. Jack stepped back. Guardian? The voice continued. One who holds the bond key, one who protects. You have been chosen. Jack laughed nervously. Me? I'm a mechanic. But the girl walked to him. She placed the keycard in his hand, and for the first time held it with him. Together, the room responded. Lights brightened, systems came online. The pods began humming gently, one by one. Small monitors lit up beside each child, vitals, names, species all listed. Jack looked around, stunned. They were all taken, he said slowly. Not for testing, but for hiding. The AI confirmed. This ship was stolen by a rebel caretaker to protect rare alien children marked for extinction by illegal syndicates. The ship crashed, and only one child escaped. Jack looked at the girl. She wasn't running away from something, he whispered. She was running back to save them. Suddenly, the main console beeped. A warning message flashed. Proximity alert vessel approaching. Jack's heart jumped. They found us. The girl didn't panic. She pressed her hand on the console again. The AI responded instantly. Emergency launch authorized. Flight enabled only with Guardian presence. Jack looked at the console, then at the girl, then at the dozens of sleeping children. He knew he couldn't walk away now. He had come too far. She had trusted him too much. He placed both hands on the console. All right, he said firmly. Let's get your family out of here. The ship rumbled. Ancient engines powered up. The sand around the ship shook and blew away. The launch sequence began above them. The sky darkened. A black dropship closed in. Weapons ready, hunters on board, but below them, hope was waking up, and this time, they wouldn't be alone. The ship rose from the sand like a sleeping beast. Dust and wind curled around its smooth metal body. Its ancient engines, once cold, now burned with golden light. Inside, Jack gripped the pilot's seat. The alien girl stood beside him, calm, like she belonged there, above them. The black dropship circled like a hawk, its weapons locked, its message clear. Stand down or be destroyed. Jack didn't flinch. He slid the shimmering keycard into the ship's main console. There was a pause, then a low hum, like the sound of something alive waking up. Key accepted, said the ship's AI. Defense protocol online. Welcome, Guardian. Suddenly, the walls of the control room lit up. Lines of alien code flickered and shifted into English, weapon systems, shields, escape routes. Even a cloaking mode Jack had never seen before. He stared, amazed. This wasn't just a rescue ship, it was armed. It had been prepared for this moment. The girl placed her hand on the panel next to him, another screen. Open, showing the black dropship in detail. Its hull, its weak points, its crew. Can we outrun them? Jack asked. The AI responded. Negative, hostile vessel faster in open space, but we are not without options. Jack raised an eyebrow. I like options. The girl tapped another screen. A hidden compartment on the ship's underside opened. Inside, a weapon glowing blue, silent, deadly. Jack didn't know what it was, but he didn't care. He trusted her. He trusted the ship. And more than anything, he believed in what they were doing. Lock target, he said. The ship obeyed. The AI gave one last warning. Warning. Return fire may trigger full-scale response. Jack narrowed his eyes. Then make sure we only warn them. The weapon fired. No sound, just a flash of light. The sky above them cracked, not with fire, but with silence. The black dropship shook violently. Its engines sputtered. Its systems blinked out for 3 full seconds. Inside that ship, the crew panicked. Someone shouted, "We've been hit by..." "What?" Back in the rescue ship, Jack grinned. "That'll make him think twice." He turned to the girl. "Now, let's go save your friends." The ship climbed higher, beyond the canyon, beyond the red wastes, toward the edge of orbit. The children still slept in their pods, but now their vitals were strong. Their systems stable. The ship was healing them, preparing them. As Jack checked each monitor, the AI spoke again. "Guardian," it said. "Key holder. Has triggered full access. All records now available." Jack stepped to the central console. The hologram in front of him changed. A galaxy map appeared. Dozens of red dots lit up. "What are these?" he asked. "Sister facilities, other stolen children hidden across colonies. Locations unknown until key reactivated." Jack felt a chill. They weren't alone. There were others, other ships, other children, and maybe other guardians. The girl touched a blue dot, one that pulsed slowly. The eye zoomed in, a small moon, uninhabited, but showing activity. Jack looked at her. "You want to go there next?" She nodded, her eyes serious. She wasn't just trying to survive anymore. She wanted to save the others. He laughed softly. "You know, I was just a junk mechanic last week." She tilted her head. Confused, Jack smiled. "Never mind." The AI interrupted. Multiple pursuit ships detected launching from Colony 9 sector. Estimated intercept time, 4 hours. Jack's face turned grim. "Then we better move fast." He grabbed the pilot controls. The girl stood beside him. The stars stretched out before them, and the keycard, now glowing brightly, slid deeper into the console, merging, bonding. It wasn't just a key anymore. It was part of the ship, part of them, and it was only just beginning. The stars drifted by slowly. The ship moved in silence through deep space. The alien children still slept in glowing pods. The hum of the engines was soft, steady, calm. Jack leaned back in the pilot's seat, eyes half closed. His hand rested on the console where the keycard had fused. The once metal plate now pulsed with light, alive. Not just tech anymore. It was connected to her, to them. The alien girl sat by the main screen, knees pulled to her chest. She looked peaceful, but distant, like something was pulling her from far away. Suddenly the ship lights flickered. An alert beeped twice. Not danger, not weapons. "Incoming transmission," the AI said. "Encrypted. Unknown origin. Matching legacy code rescue. Node 17. Jack sat up straight. The girl's head turned fast. Her eyes wide. She recognized the name. The screen lit up static for a moment. Then a face appeared, older, alien, with tired eyes and silver lines running down her skin. Her voice cracked as she spoke. "Alpha, if you're alive, please respond." The girl stood up slowly, walked to the screen. Her lips trembled. Jack looked between them. "Who is that?" he asked softly. The girl whispered a single word, a word Jack didn't know, but the emotion behind it told him everything. "Mother," the woman on the screen gasped. "Alpha? It's you. It's really you." Tears ran down her face. "We thought you were all gone and your ship crashed. I searched. I swore I'd find you." Jack stepped back, letting them speak in. Their language, the AI translated softly in his earpiece. The girl wasn't just a runaway. She was the daughter of the leader who tried to save stolen alien children across the stars. Her mother had smuggled them onto different ships, scattered them across space. But Alpha's ship, the one Jack found, crashed before reaching safety for 12 years. The girl had been lost alone until now. The woman on the screen looked at Jack. "You protected her?" she asked. "I tried," he said. "She did most of the saving." The woman smiled. "You were the key," she whispered. "Only a human guardian could activate the full system." Jack blinked. "What?" She explained. The ship's safety systems were locked only. Someone with human DNA could unlock all protocols, because humans were neutral in the war that led to this dark trade. Only a human guardian could protect all alien species without bias. The keycard chose him not by chance, but by design. Jack stared at the console. It had bonded with him, because the ship needed more than just a pilot. It needed someone who cared. The girl placed her hand on his, her eyes shining not with fear this time, but with love. Jack nodded slowly. "All right," he said. "Let's finish what you started." The woman sent final coordinates. The last hidden rescue base, where others like Alpha waited, where more children were still frozen. Still hoping, hours later, the ship reached the moon. It was cold, silent, but pulsing faintly under the surface. Jack landed gently. A ramp lowered into an underground dock. Lights flickered on as they stepped out. The girl walked ahead, brave, steady. This was her mission now. Jack followed. The moment they reached the inner chamber, the wall lit up. Dozens of symbols appeared, and then a door opened. Inside, more stasis pods, more sleeping children. Another stolen group waiting for a miracle. Jack placed his hand on the control panel. The keycard light flowed through it, and one by one, the pods began to warm, to glow, to wake. The children slowly opened their eyes. Some looked scared, some confused. But when they saw the girl, they smiled. They recognized her. She was one of them, and now she had come back. Hours passed. The chamber filled with soft voices, quiet laughter. Jack sat to the side, watching. The girl stood in the middle of it all, surrounded by those she had once lost. She looked over to him, and for the first time, she spoke a full sentence in human. Language slow, but clear. "You showed me the way," she said, "and I brought them home." Jack smiled. "That's what family does," he replied. "Finds each other in the dark." And deep in the ship, the keycard pulsed once more, its light fading now. Mission complete. But Jack knew this was only the beginning, because across the stars, more children waited, more stories were sleeping, and now he had someone to help him wake them.